Yeah, and it's amazing too. I'm really really interested to see how it turns out. I was around 152, 153 whenever I won my pro card at nationals. And I'm well. It's funny because I'm 5'9", but the NPC you're like much shorter than you really are all the time. It's very odd. So they they measured me at 5'7.5", even though I've been told I'm 5'9" my whole life. But I weighed in. I was like 152, 153, I think, at nationals, and so it'll be interesting. I pushed hard to try to put on muscle these past 2 years, and I think I did. I'm hoping, I'm guessing 4 to 5 pounds is what I put on, and I'm hoping that's the case. Um, but it's just amazing, people. You say that, and people might not think that's a lot, but that is a lot to put on, like actual muscle within that time frame. I mean, it like you said, it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of eating. It takes a lot of recovery and pushing and training, and there's a lot that goes into it. You can't just miraculously gain uh, legit muscle that fast, especially for females. It's harder. So
Mm. Yeah, because women bodies are different. Women, they you do carry more, a higher BMI compared to men. Men can like burn off fat like that because we have testosterone. We have more muscle density. Women, this is how I said this. The purpose of men's life is to battle, breed, and die. That's it. We're done. But for y'all women, y'all are nurturers. You take care of our family, our homes, our children. Your purpose is to be, more, be a woman. But when you get into the sport of bodybuilding, you understand you're an athlete and you dedicate yourself to something that's totally different than the norm. You're One thing is I've had ladies tell me that how people might make comments like, "Hey, she's trying to be a man." Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is the thing is, if you have the same discipline as this woman has, you wouldn't be saying that. You would say, "I respect your discipline, but you work. You don't like it." How my man Brother Max says, "People don't like you, fuck them."
right.
You gotta live for you. You can't live for nobody else. Here we got my man. Shout out to my man Damon J. He's sticking around here. I appreciate you, brother, for keeping up with us. He says, "Who is Candace's favorite Ivy women's physique pros athletes currently? Who does she like the most? Like, is anybody you follow that you like? If you ever get to meet him, you go like,
um, I I followed Natalia a lot. Um, just being from women's physique and following women's physique. Um, I was following her a lot. Someone that I really found interesting was, I don't know why her name is escaping me. I think her first name is Amy.
"Mm,
Um, she had knee surgery re- uh, last year, and I think she's French. I want to say, um, but what fascinates,
oh, you mean Anne Marie Moon?
yeah, yeah, no, is that
Yeah, because that's the only one I know. She's French. There's three French competitors. There's Sophie Leo. She's had a birthday a couple of days ago. Barbara Majan, who's announced she's going to do the Pittsburgh Pro this year. And there's Anne Lorraine Moon. And she had knee surgery a while back.
Yes, yes. And the reason why I find her so fascinating is because she's tall. Because being tall in bodybuilding is hard, and so, you're especially being the tall person. Now that there's not height classes for me, you're competing against someone that's 5'4" standing next to you, and maybe they weigh the same as you do. You have to show better than that. So it's just she fascinates me because she is tall, and so I kind of always went off of like how much she weighed and her proportion, and you kind of start to, because you want to kind of relate, I think, to some people and kind of go from there. So I always thought she was, I mean, and I think she's very pretty competitor whenever she competes and everything, and that's something that's huge for me is like the femininity, like I I love feminine bodybuilders that you know they look phenomenal, and then they still have like that feminine aspect to them, because that's what I want to hold on to, and that's what I want to embody. And so I think she has that, and I love that she's tall in women's physique, and she's up there in the top five majority of the time, holding her own. Because we don't have the advantage as tall women. These shorter women, they're stacked because they don't have as much ground to cover. So I feel like we have to kind of try twice as hard a little bit to.
Well, Well, I know quite a few ladies who like you're like 5'9", 5'8". I even know ladies who's 6 foot tall. It's a lot harder because you got to think about it. Your arms and legs are a lot longer, and it takes more time for you to put on mass compared to somebody who's like you look at somebody like Michaela Acon, who's barely 5 feet tall. You look at some ladies like 5'4". Look at Andrea, she's 5'5". I think that's the guideline for really building muscle for women. If you're something under 5'7", because one thing when you get that short, because you're losing the fat in the pad of your feet, so that cuts down maybe a couple of inches. I got a friend named Tina. Tina's like 5'9". She's a women's bodybuilder, massive, great physique. It took her a little while to really put on that muscle, but she's very well. She's been to the Rise Phoenix a couple of times, and she's competing this year because she took a break a while back, and she competed last year. But yeah, it's a lot tougher if you're a taller competitor to put on mass and size. Um, we got here a comment from a man, Damien says, it's amazing how many people have Natalia Cuejo. She like Natalia Cuejo. She's that popular among the bodybuilding and fitness community that should tell you something. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of hers. She's been even my comments kind of checking a couple of times and even follow me, but I'm a fan of who she is as a bodybuilder, but not a fan as a competitor per se.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have here. What?
I will say, Jessica Reyes Padilla. She actually works out at the gym that I work out at, and she is super nice. I think she looks phenomenal, and she's extremely nice. She came up and talked to me, and uh, was talking to me. Asked me questions like, "What show are you doing? Like, you look great." And I was like, "Thank you. You look great." It's like, but she's very nice, and I love that whenever you meet very like the ones that are very popular, and they're just so humble and willing to have like great conversations with you. So that was really nice. I talked to her the other day.
Yeah, I know Jessica right now. She might be the next Miss Olympia or somebody else. Missy Trescott. She's throwing a hat in for the figure championship, and possibly one day you might compete against her at a show, Jessica. I mean, she's top
True.
competitor, and I agree with you. Yeah, because I remember my first body show I went. I met some nice ladies. I met Don Saleeb, a couple of ladies I interviewed a while back. Sheena Olick. Sheena Olick's a big donut freak. She loves donuts. Some ladies who were legends. I got to meet Alina Popa, and that was just great. I
I
mean,
I love her. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I saw Linda Murray. She even smiled at me. I've been talking with back and forth on social media, and she follows my YouTube channel. I really appreciate that. She follows me. And this is the thing about one person I said again I love is Andrea. And I bring this out because a friend of mine, her name is Eunice Kitchens. She lives right there in Texas. She runs her own company, Bad Rap. You ever heard of it? And Eunice was at the 2023 Olympia when it was in Orlando, and she saw Andrea, and it was like right before my birthday was, and she did this for me. She went to Andrea and she did this.
Aw, that's awesome.
And that's why I love her. She's just great muscle femininity. I mean, people I've interviewed say she has a great personality. I mean, I'm just a fan of this lady. Here we got here from a man, Lawrence Perkin coming through. He says, good evening, Candace, George, and everyone on the chat. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Also, this is from Mikhail says, could you dunk a basketball for someone or what's in figure? Because you're tall, so yeah, he's a smart ass.
I don't know if I'm that tall, and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you got to be really tall. You got like Angel Reese or something like that tall to do that. We got here from a man. Damon says Anna Lorraine Moon was my favorite. Yeah, it's good. I think she might. I don't know if she's gonna be coming back and competing this year. The knee surgery was like almost a year or so ago. Takes a while.
I
You
saw
may
a
see
video
her.
of her training pretty hard the other day, so I was like, okay,
Yeah,
maybe.
but it's one thing dudes train hard and get ready to compete. She might be just like I said, still rehabbing. It takes some time,
Right.
but she might possibly. I know one lady I follow, Helen Trevino, had knee surgery because she had to take some bone fragments out of her knee, and I see she's training hard. So there's a possibility that she might be coming back. So we just hope and see. Here we got here from this is I say his name as uh whatever his name. I'm going to delete him because I don't know his name is. I'm not gonna say it, but Candace is sexy. Also, he says, when is she competing again? Well, brother, if you were here earlier, she's going to plan on competing in a few weeks in April. She already has a show set. So if you want to know, you can watch the replay again and you can find out. Because, hey, don't come in late. You come in late, I'm not going to tell you everything. So, that's it. Also, he says, Anne Lorraine is awesome. Anne Lorraine would say, and yeah, so yeah, she is cool. I mean, top level competitor, I've even interviewed Barbara Majan, a fellow country woman, and she is an amazing lady. And it's great to see. I hope she will get her qualification for Olympia. She was trying to get it last year, but she missed it. But anyway, so we're not gonna hold her much too longer. She's a busy lady. She got a kid to take care of. She got a man to take care of. Got a house to take care of. You know, it's a lot to be a woman in this sport. The time you got to put in, the work you got to put in. It can be, it's still again very draining because when we go to the shows, we don't understand the the diet, the consistency. You're tired, you're dehydrated, you know, it's just so much involved. But what we see on the stage is these amazing bodies, beautiful, conditioned, just something just to awe at. But there's so much work involved in it when you get to that level.
There is. It's hard to explain too. I think. I think you can explain it and you can say it. Even my clients that I have, they obviously they know who I am and what I do, and they know I'm training for a show. And even them sometimes they'll ask me like, "Are you okay? You just seem, you seem kind of out of it, or you seem kind of tired." And I'm like, "I'm fine. I'm just, I am tired. I'm existing right now because I'm doing checking all the boxes, and sometimes that's really easy, and some days it's really hard. And but you still have to do it, and you make the most of it. So, but even though they know they don't really know. They don't really grasp like how much it takes out of you and like how much you have to push and put into it.
Yeah, it's good that you have your husband. He understands it because he was in it. Your coach is there. Your family may not understand it, but they do support you. That's good. You know, family support is very important when you can in sport because I like to say I know ladies who said again their family understand it and they kind of just kind of back away from it. You lost friends because their friends understand because you're not the same person you used to be because you have grown into a new self, a new life, and it's not the same as the life you had before.
Right.
Because this is a sport you have to do for a passion. The ladies tell me, say, George, I'm not here to make money. It'd be nice if I could,
Be
if I'm
great.
lucky enough to get
Yeah.
sponsorship. Yeah, it'd be great if you get sponsorship. Like, you might get to hey there, Candace. I really like the shows. Your nice little red hair. But no, stop that. That's what you no. This is what you're supposed to say. Say, Miss Walton, we are interested in you. We are passionate about bodybuilding and what you want from it, and we would like to sponsor you. So, if you ever feel the need to join our company and become a brand ambassador athlete, we have great opportunities for you. So, if it's something that works with you and your interests, then let us know, and then we make sure we set you up in the future. So, madam, would you be interested in working with us?
The crazy thing is about all of that is the the it used to be so much more. I feel like it used to be so much more of that of what the but I feel like it's become a lot harder to engage and to get that out of people. Like you said, the brand ambassador thing got really big and really popular, and the athlete sponsorship I feel like kind of like got smaller. So now it's like all about they want just people to market for them, but that doesn't necessarily do much for you. So it's crazy to
Yeah,
me.
Yeah, I think most society focus more on, as I said, the teenage divisions like bikini or wellness because they're more overlooked as easy attainable. Now, fit models coming in, it's also a lot more easy attainable. But y'all women in figure, physique, women's bodybuilding, because I'm a fan of women's bodybuilding, been a fan for a long time, and I've really grown to become fond of physique. And even I've interviewed ladies in figure. I really get to to acknowledge your commitment as much as the others. And so again, not too a big fan of bikini because I find it wellness. I'm particularly interested in it because it kind of I just but I really respect you ladies, especially the work and the time put into this. Not everybody can do what y'all do. It's only such a few people who want to stick around. I know competitors who got their pro card, say, you know what, I'm done, or or they just after a long time competing as an amateur, say, you know what, there's something better in life I can do besides this. But again, you have to do this as a passion. You have to love what you do because if you don't love what you do it, then what's the point of doing it? We got here from a man Lawrence Perkins, shout out to Lawrence. He's always giving good advices. Miss Candace, keep on striving on what in front of you. And every day, you're always a winner for people to inspire others. Thank you, brother. Also, this is from the dude. I'm going to say his name. He says, wow, she's a pro. I didn't know that. I lost time. I saw her compete in Texas. Well, you see the title says IFBB Pro. So, and also this from a man, shout out to my man again. Lawrence says, everyone take care. Another great interview. Appreciate that, brother. And also, this my man Damon says, what's his name? Take a chill pill, buddy. I'm joking. And also, this is from my man Damon. Shout out to Damon again. Thank you again, brother. Says, I like, wait a minute. Something pop up. We can say, ooh. Says, I like, what's he say? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I've got problems. My computer's acting up. He says this. He says, I like that too with fit model division, wellness, and bikini. Well, like I said, you can like it, but I'm kind of indifferent about it. But like I said, I will interview competitors because I'm a fan of bodybuilding. I really want to open, like I said again, mostly I was really more a fan of women's bodybuilding, but I really have really tried to open my pathways to other divisions, talk to the competitors, get their mindset. I may not like your division, but I will respect you as an athlete. That's how I feel. Yeah, yeah. So, say, wait a minute, say, oh, wait a minute. Uh, he says, nah, I didn't like those divisions. Okay, I appreciate that, brother. He says, hey, I got a correction because some of my computer went in and out. I need to get a new computer. Technology. But, so man, like I said, we're not teaching much longer. We do appreciate the time you give us here. Um, what would you want out of bodybuilding for yourself?
Whenever I first started bodybuilding, I told my husband then, he wasn't my husband then, but I said this to him, um, because he asked me that when he first met me, like, what's your goal in all of this? And I said, my goal is to go to the Olympia. And whenever we first got together, we went, I think, 2 or 3 years. Um, we were very into it. We went to the Olympia and watched it, and that was when I was a big fan of Alina Popov when she was competing. And I actually sat behind her on a bus, and I had that like celebrity moment. But I I loved it. I loved that we went and experienced it and saw it. And I told him very early on when I first started, I'm gonna be up there. I'm going to stand up there, and that's my ultimate goal. And everyone always asks, how long are you gonna do this for? And that's kind of usually my answer. It's like I'm gonna do it until I do what I said I was gonna do. And whenever I first got into bodybuilding and I saw it and started following it, the Olympia is the show. And that's my ultimate goal. It doesn't I don't need to win it. Obviously that would be great, but I don't need to win it. But I want to be there on stage at the Olympia, and I want to compete against the best, and I want to be able to say that I did that in my pro bodybuilding career.
That's great because I know last year I interviewed three ladies who made their Olympia debut. and that was a great opportunity for them. It's a lot of work to get there. The Olympia is the biggest stage. Some people said the Arnold, but Arnold don't carry physique or figure.
Yeah.
Like I said, I keep saying this. I love the man's movies, Terminator, the Terminator, the I don't